On this episode of Inside the Blueprint, airflow hoods, HVAC, and net zero energy. If you're familiar with the terminology, then this segment on Dwyer Instruments is for you. Looking to make the floors in your home more durable and even aesthetically pleasing? If so, Penntek Industrial Coatings can help make that happen. Everyone knows that Owens Corning is famous for all things glass, but you really have to check out what they're doing with geomembranes. Today's workers in modern buildings take comfort and climate for granted, but this energy efficiency is due to constant innovation in technology. The airflow in buildings needs to be regularly balanced, but there's a need for change in the HVAC industry as we move towards a green goal of the net zero energy building.
What does it mean to be green? It's all about measuring the air quality, the comfort, and the energy usage within the buildings.
It's important. When you have a building, let's just say there's 10, 20, 30 floors, you have office cubicles, you're going to want to make sure that you get the same amount of air in each cubicle in every floor. Why? Because somebody might be hot, somebody might be cold. You want to try to establish a certain level of comfort. With new technology coming out, you're going to want to make buildings more efficient. The reason is we'll be able to cut costs, make buildings greener, and make them more comfortable.
Dwyer Instruments of Michigan City, Indiana is leading that change in building technology. They have a long history of innovation in designing and manufacturing controls, airflow sensors, as well as instrumentation solutions to the HVAC and process automation markets. With over 650 patents to their name, Dwyer has become the world leader in HVAC instrumentation.
So what we're looking at is, what are our customers' pain points? What does the industry need? And simply not look at competitors and copy their devices. Understand the use model, what our customers are going through, parlaying that with the technology that's available, and then using that to move forward, come up with a solution that'll change the industry.
Here at its R&D lab and production facility in Michigan City, Indiana, Dwyer has been centering its expertise on one big problem in the industry: the outdated standard method of measuring a building's airflow. The flow hood, which has been the instrument of choice for evaluating HVAC systems, has failed to provide accurate flow measurements for a variety of reasons.
Traditional air hoods, capture hoods they're called, actually are heavy. They require two technicians to balance a single branch, to balance a room. And we intended to develop a product that could be operated by a single technician to speed the process and improve the accuracy of the balance itself.
We did that, we looked into it, we came up with an innovative solution, and we solved the problem.
And Dwyer's newest innovation in measuring airflow, designed to make the job of balancing a building much easier? The Smart Air Hood Balancing Instrument, with a small, easy-to-set-up wireless quad-flow design that will balance an HVAC system in half the time of a traditional airflow hood.
This is the Dwyer Smart Air Hood. You can see it's a very unique design here. We call this quad flow technology, which channels the air through 4 separate quad flows and sums them together. It's mounted on a swivel pole, which allows a technician to insert this into a diffuser, mount the pole on the floor, and walk away. So remove this app. They can take the app up on a ladder and adjust dampers. So a single technician can do a balancing process with the Smart Air Hood. I think it'll revolutionize the industry in the next 5 years, to be honest. It's actually very, very well accepted for newer technicians because there's an app on this phone that allows you to predictively balance, which is different from the traditional method and allows new technicians to be able to balance the system very easily.
With the introduction of the Smart Air Hood Balancing Instrument, the process of air balancing a building is being transformed. A far cry from the traditional method, which required a technician climb a ladder multiple times to the ceiling to check airflow readings.
So this is how it was done, or they'd have 2 technicians, one on the ladder and one holding up the airflow hood, and they try to work together. And you can see that can go on for a very long time. Well, the new Smart Air Hood is much easier to adjust. You just put it in place. It can reach up to 16 feet. Pull is a triple extension. And we've got a wireless flow meter here, so I can climb up and I can adjust the damper one time watching the flow live, It's adjusted in place, and it's done. That's all there is to it.
I like best about this the safety aspect of it. I'm not going up and down a ladder multiple times. I'm not taking a reading, cutting the damper, oh, I cut it too much, oh, I didn't cut it enough, and then making multiple trips up and down and up and down. With this, I can just go up in the ceiling, take a reading, watch what I'm doing in real time, and it's done. This hood is probably going to change the industry, and getting the newer generation of people coming in, it's going to make their job a lot easier.
And to change the industry, you have to challenge the status quo. And that's what we do here at Dwyer. Hands down, it's the people in our organization. They're what make it happen. They embrace technology, they embrace new things, they embrace change, and we just have a high energy culture, and we're just able to lead. As long as we have that and continue to drive forward, we're going to continue to be successful, and we're going to innovate.
Dwyer's culture of innovation is going a long way towards making a green energy future possible. To learn more about Dwyer Instruments and its smart air hood balancing system, go to their website, dwyer-inst.com, or go to insidetheblueprint.com to see this portion of the show again. We often forget that our home starts from the ground up, and as the largest, most used feature of any home, your floors require an abundance of care. Today, Penntek Industrial Coatings will be installing all new patio and garage flooring, and will be finalized and ready to go by the time homeowners Abe and Vanessa come home from work. The clock starts right now.
We're here at Abe and Vanessa's house working on their back patio and pool deck today. And so as you can see behind us, we have the Penntek Industrial crew grinding off the surface. With concrete, over time, it's going to start deteriorating and previous coatings fail. And so what we're going to do is we're going to come in with our diamond grinders, grind off the existing surface, profile the concrete to make it so it's a nice smooth system.
So one of our top priorities at Penntek is to really help our customers take ugly, gray, cracked, oily, dirty concrete and make it beautiful. We want it to be slip resistant. We want it to be beautiful with the colors that they want, all different colors and styles. We want it to be easy to clean. It's antimicrobial, antibacterial, so you can usually spray and wipe it, Swiffer it, pressure wash it out if you want. And the thing that our customers love is it can all be done in one day. So our crew shows up in the morning, and usually by the time the customer gets home from work, their garage or their space, the concrete area they have is beautiful. And typically they can walk on it that evening and drive on it in as little as 24 hours, all backed by our Penntek manufacturer's warranty.
So today at Abe and Vanessa's, we're going to be giving them the Penntek Coatings Evolution Full Chip System in just one day. So when they come home, they're not going to see their failing coating. They're going to see a new, bright, shiny, finished project that is going to be easy to clean and is going to last the lifetime.
The crew has officially started to install the coating on the back patio and lay down a fresh coat.
Once we've already profiled the concrete, we need to fill in all the low spots. We use Penntek Industrial Coatings CR Mender. So what I'm going to do is just pour it down, and since it's such a user-friendly product, I'm simply just going to squeegee it around. So it actually, when it cures, it's actually stronger than the concrete. And then we're going to come back and we're going to regrind the surface to make it smooth before we start the next step. Once we've figured out that the CR Mender has reached full cure, is we're going to take our concrete diamond grinders and grind off the very top of the mender to make sure that the patio is 100% perfectly smooth. One of the most important things when we look at a patio or a garage floor is we want it as smooth as possible before we start our Evolution chip system. Once we've ground the CR Mender, you can see that the floor is going to be back to smooth. All of our low spots, our cracks, and anywhere that the mender was is back to smooth. So our very next step is going to be to put down the pure polyurea, the PB200 base coat, and to do a full broadcast of the Evolution chips. Abe and Vanessa have chosen the color pecan, which is going to have a little bit of rust in it, so it's going to blend in very well with their brick surrounding. Now that we've done the base coat and the full broadcast on the pool deck, we're going to be moving to the garage floor. The very next step on the garage floor is going to be utilizing our diamond grinders to prepare the surface. Once the diamond grinding process has been completed, Our very next step is to do any type of verticals, stairs, or detailed areas with the Evolution system. Once the floor is ready for the base coat, we will utilize an 18-inch roller and roll out in a nice, even, consistent, opaque color. Once we are done, the finished product will have an orange peel finish with an anti-skid additive based on the homeowner's needs. We're back at the completed pool deck for Abe and Vanessa. Before, they had old, stamped, slippery concrete that wasn't beautiful to the eye and actually was a slip hazard when they get out of the pool. Now that this completed project is done and ready for Abe and Vanessa's barbecue tonight, let's go to the garage and see how that turned out. Now we're here at the completed garage floor project. With Abe being very hands-on with woodworking and automobile maintenance, he won't have a problem bringing in his cars or working on any wood and damaging the floor. Another huge advantage of the Penntek Evolution system is the multicolored dimensions that we were able to create within one floor. Abe and Vanessa decided that they wanted a two-tone diamond that matched the exterior of their house and also had a complementary color in the middle. We utilized sandstone as the color in the middle and driftwood to match their exterior of their house on the exterior part of the garage floor, also completing their verticals. Now it's time for Abe and Vanessa to roll their wheels in and enjoy their new garage floor.
Okay, so we just got Abe and Vanessa home for the big reveal. They absolutely fell in love with their garage floor right away. They could not believe what we were able to accomplish in such a small period of time. They really loved the color that they chose, the design that we put in it. They couldn't be more thrilled, so that was amazing. They absolutely loved the pool deck as well. That was really beautiful. It's got the non-slip that they wanted, the colors that they wanted, the way the sun plays off of it. They're really excited to start to use their product and have their party and really start to show off their new garage floor and their new pool decks. So once again, another successful project. Our goal at Penntek Industrial Coatings is to take ugly, gray, cracked, oily concrete and make it beautiful. We feel like in some ways we're concrete artists. We really transform the space. The customer is blown away by the project. That's our main goal, and not inconvenience in the name, and being able to get it done in such a quick period of time. They just absolutely loved it, and we loved it. They're really thrilled, and at the end of the day, that's what makes us happy as well.
Humans have been in the building business since the early Stone Ages. Thanks to our cognitive capabilities, we're able to learn how to build everything from primitive stone shelters to today's great architectural marvels. Along the way, structures became more and more sophisticated, and so did the planning tools. And now that we've entered the digital era, the game is changing once again. We are in Houston, Texas, to learn more about a software company that is making big waves in the construction industry. Our friends at OnCenter Software have developed the takeoff software that helps construction companies bid more and win more. Let's find out how it works.
Most people, when they hear the word takeoff, they think either a rocket's going to launch or that somebody is doing something inappropriate. But takeoff, as it relates to contractors, it's the practice of going to a set of blueprints and removing the quantities, the areas, and the linears necessary in order to get the size of a project so that they can put together an accurate estimate.
Software, like this, has users seeing a big difference in speed and accuracy. In the crowded and competitive building bidding field, this can make all the difference.
They want to be able to finish their work faster and be able to analyze their work so that they're more profitable.
But what exactly makes this software a must-have in the construction biz? As technology mercilessly steamrolls onto the future, adapting becomes essential for the workforce. Manual is becoming more and more a thing of the past, and the construction industry is no exception.
Construction is transforming. It is changing. What we know of construction 10 years ago will not be what we see in construction 15, 20, 25 years from now. The part that's most exciting is that for folks who have been on the outside, right, building with X's and O's and ones and zeros inside of software will be just as impactful as the person hanging the rock and driving the nail in making sure that that business is profitable for the next 25 to 30 years.
To learn more, go to oncenter.com.
What's something that sports cars, speedboats, and spacesuits have in common? Their complex forms, high strength, and lightweight construction are all made possible because of innovative products developed by Owens Corning. In this episode of Inside the Blueprint, we're going to learn about this company's revolutionary achievement, Rhino Mat, an innovative and next-generation material that is 6 times faster to install and has twice the strength of conventional high-density polyethylene. Rhino Mat is a reinforced composite geomembrane that is widely being selected by civil engineers for water containment applications. But what exactly is a geomembrane, and what makes it so special?
A geomembrane is actually a geosynthetic. Now, this is a man-made material that works in earth applications, civil infrastructure, in transportation, water resources, waste containment. We're actually using these man-made materials to enhance conventional construction practices.
RhinoMat is a reinforced geomembrane that's puncture and tear resistant and plays an important part in lining protective facilities for environmental containment applications.
So a geomembrane is actually an impervious membrane. It's actually used to prevent the flow of liquids. And usually we're taking the liquids in a containment facility and keeping those from seeping into the groundwater. And that's to store the water for beneficial purposes or to keep polluted water from entering into the groundwater.
Now that we know why Owens Corning's reinforced composite geomembranes are so good, let's go see where and how it's made.
The Rhino Lab is the world's most advanced testing and prototyping center for geomembranes and roofing membranes and the likes. Included in the Rhino Lab is a 1/15th scale version of all of our production facilities. We have a team of 17 scientists and engineers that work every day to develop new inventions, product enhancements, new offerings to the market to fill unmet needs.
Rhino Mat is what we call a reinforced composite geomembrane. It's the next generation of geomembranes. It's lightweight, it's flexible, it's easy to install, and so we'll use it for a lot of water retention and containment applications. So lining ponds, lining environmental containment facilities, to keep dirty water from polluting the groundwater, to keep valuable water resources stored for future use. So this is where Rhino Mat starts. This is our compounder. And what we'll begin with is a plastic resin pellet where we're mixing these resin pellets with different additives, and we'll melt it down into what we call a master batch, which will become our polyethylene raw material to go to the tape line and start our manufacturing process for Rhino Mat. So once this master batch is good and mixed, we're bringing it over to the tape line, where we'll actually feed it into this hopper, and it will be melted down and extruded into a flat polyethylene film sheet. So here we have the master batch coming out of the hopper into the extruder. So when the master batch comes into this, it's actually a hot screw press, heating the master batch into 290 degrees Celsius. And it'll actually cast it through this extrusion die into a flat film. Once it comes through this die, it'll be quenched in a cooling bath and then rolled up to this area where we're actually slitting tapes. And those tapes will make up the reinforcing backbone of the Rhino Mat material.
Once the tapes are split, they're brought into a stretching oven that applies more heat, which in turn stretches the tape to the specified width.
Once it comes through the stretching oven and the tapes are at the requisite width, then we're bringing it into what we call an annealing station. So the annealing process is running it through these hot and cold rollers, and we're introducing some of the stretch and the strength properties of these tapes through this annealing process. So after the tapes come through the annealing line, they're being pulled into this winding bank. And you can see all these tapes being spooled into packages or bobbins where we're going to use them later in a weaving process. So once the tapes are spooled onto these bobbins, all bobbins are brought over to this enormous rack that we call a creel, and 532 tape ends are brought into this flat loom in the warp direction. It's pulled through, and a shuttle will shoot the tape across in the wet direction so that we can weave the reinforcement fabric on this enormous machine.
Once the weaving process is finished, the material is then transferred to this coating machine, where the reinforced fabric will be coated and turned into an impervious, waterproof material.
We're going to coat this reinforcement fabric in this machine, wind it through these winders, and come out the other side, and that's our Rhino Mat. This makes it impervious, waterproof material. Eventually, the Rhino Mat will have one more laminated film layer on the surface. We'll run it through the printer, put the logo on it, and this is an impervious geomembrane, great product for water retention and containment applications. In fabrication facilities, Rhino Mat can be welded together in panels as large as a half an acre. Here's some Rhino Mat that we're going to weld together. It's a very simple process. There's about a 3-inch overlap, a piece on top, a piece below. We're going to seam this together in a continuous waterproof weld using this thermal fusion welder. Here's how it's done. That was hot. That was welded at 700 degrees Fahrenheit. These two pieces are fused together. This is a watertight seal, a very strong weld. It's almost impossible to pull apart. That's tough stuff.
It's still surprising that we are using high-density polyethylene geomembranes for potable water applications. There are a lot of applications and opportunities for fabricated materials to displace high-density polyethylene.
Whether it's installing an industrial containment pond, a drinking water reservoir, or a farming irrigation pond, Owens Corning's undeniable and unbeatable innovations continue to make our world a safer and better place.
That's the Rhino Mat story.
Thanks for watching this episode of Inside the Blueprint. For more information on anything you saw today, or to find out how you can become part of the show, go to InsideTheBlueprint.com.